Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video. I'm working with some things from my trip to Milwaukee earlier this year, and I just have a 3x8 back-to-back layout here. On the back side, I want to use my ticket from the Milwaukee Art Museum. And then on this side, I just want to use these photos. I do recognize I'm going to have to probably cut these down, this one for sure, and I could just cut down into the actual Monet painting, but I want to get both of those on this side if possible. If I could only use one, I might just do this one. It's a close-up shot of one of the paintings, and that would be fine. But I have pulled out all of my 3x8 options here. So I'm just going to go through them and see, is there something ready-made that will work for these so that I don't have to build from scratch. I'm really trying to avoid that if possible. I mean, I'll do it, but it would be a lot easier and faster if I didn't have to. For the backside, I think I have decided to go with this. I love the phrase, but I'm going to cover it up because I like this look up here and I really don't need it to say that for the museum. So I think what I'm going to do is just cover it pretty much like so. I'll probably overlap it a little bit onto the marbled area, but I love how it looks with the headband that she has on here. And then down here, it leaves me enough room where I could overlap an embellishment here. I could stamp, I could do something. So I think that's what I'm going to do with the back side. For this side, however, I have two choices and I can't decide which one I like better. I really love the brightness of the yellow here and the fact that it says in focus when I have something like this from the Impressionists, where if you stand back, the paintings look one way. If you get close, they look another. You can really see those brush strokes. And look at these against this color. There is some light yellow in there. I think that would work fine. I would obviously need to trim this one down, which I had planned on anyway, so that's not a problem. But then I also like this one because of the mix of colors, which also work with what's happening here. I've got orange, pink, that light blue. They are all acceptable. And again, they would fit. I could cut this down to fit in there, and then I would have room either in between the photos or at the bottom to do another embellishment, stamping, phrase label, something. So I think for now I'm going to put these aside and just think about that more. But I can at least get started on the back side since I know that this is the 3x8 card that I want to use. I have grabbed out my Milwaukee bin of stuff because I do have some bits and pieces in there. Maybe something in there will work with this, maybe not. I don't remember what I threw in there, if anything, that was specific to any kind of art stuff, but I have it at the ready. For my ticket here, I'm just going to quickly adhere it to my 3x8 card. There we go. I think I'm going to go about, oops, I got a little adhesive right there on the side. Come on. It happens. Okay. I think I'm going to do it right about like that. And that gives me a nice overlap here, but enough room down here like I talked about. And then hopefully I'll find something in here. But if not, I also have my general bag of all these travel related goodies, and I know there are some museum things that I've cut that are in there, so between all of that I'm bound to find something. So I found something in here that I wasn't quite expecting to use for this, but I'm glad I found it. I think it'll work just fine. I had this little camera cut out, and I generally don't like to have the barcode showing on anything. I just find them kind of ugly and distracting. I liked that the date was there, but I have other places where I can do the date. I think I'm actually going to take this camera and cover that up right here, and it'll go right up flush with where it says Milwaukee Art Museum, and it covers that up and it goes quite nicely just a hair before the left-hand side. I really like that. So I'm going to attach that, and then I'll assess if I need to add something up here. I feel like if nothing else, I need to stamp, and I do have museum related stamps. So that shouldn't be that hard to figure out, but I'm for sure going to use the camera. I didn't really find anything else in here that I liked, and before pulling out my stamps, I figured I would just check my phrase labels, and I went for gray because I have gray in the camera here. It's very light, but it's there. And then there's also a silver tone. So I think I'm just gonna look in here, see if there's anything appropriate, and if not, then it's probably off to the stamps. I have decided to stamp here, and I have selected this one right here that says museum visit. And I grabbed all these labels thinking that maybe I would use one, but I think I'm first going to try just stamping directly on here. If I end up hating the way it looks, I'll cover it up with a label, but I want to at least try it because maybe I'll end up loving it. All right, I did the stamping and I like it as is. I don't need to cover it up with a label, which is great. So now that back side is done. Awesome. Now I can move on and figure out what am I doing with the front side. I've decided to go with the yellow 3x8 card just because I love the bright color and that pop that it'll bring, so I want to use that. I am going to have to trim this down, so I do have my handy dandy trimmer here. So I will do that first to figure out my placement, and then I'll come back and figure out what else do I need on this. I have cut down the photos. I actually trimmed the top of this one a little bit, so it's actually 3 3/4 length, not 4. It was a 3x4. And then I cut this down, but no matter how I place it, I don't like it. It's even cutting it down pretty small, it's still too big. And I just feel like the color is better with just these. There's enough blue in there that it works with this. So I think I'm going to place it about like that probably. And then I may put some washi here, and then I need to see, is there any kind of embellishment thing I can put up here, something, because it's a lot of empty space. So I do still have some work to do, but at least this gives me a good start, and now I can throw away the picture I'm not going to use. I did decide to add this very light blue washi because I love not only that it's so narrow, but it's a very close match to this color, so that is perfect. So I have that. And then I had all 4 of these things in here in my stash of stuff from Milwaukee, and they're okay. I think I do want something pink because I've got a lighter pink in here, but none of these are quite what I want, I don't think. So I'm going to leave those over here as choices, but I'm also going to dump out all the stuff that's in here that's pink and just see if there's something in there that I like better. I pulled out a bunch of pink things from there, and there were very few that I actually liked for what I have going here. So these are all kind of leftovers that I'm not going to use. I haven't narrowed down to these 2. They both happen to say favorite, which is interesting. This one I like because of the curve. It mimics the curve of the camera lens here, which is visually interesting, so I like it. But I like the font on this one. It's in contrast to this. And I like the fact that it's two-tone. It's got white on there. And I think that helps to bring in the white of the camera down here. And then I have both ends represented. So let's just look really quickly. You know what? I think I do like this one better. I think I'm just going to go with that. I have adhered that to the top, and I think I am just going to use my tiny attacher and put in a mini staple right there. And then let's see, does it need anything else? I don't think it does. Let me put it in the sleeve here. See what I think once it's all in there. I do like it, I think. And then this is the other side. Yeah, I think I like them together. Now this is either a little short or I didn't get them lined up correctly. Oh, so this one's a little bit longer. I may trim the bottom of this down just so that they match once they're in the page protector and permanently in the album. But otherwise, I like what I have here. It's pretty basic, but it worked out well, I think. So here's another one finished for Milwaukee. Thanks for watching.